Hello everybody, and welcome to the first podcast style video I will be putting up on this channel. This is going to be a new type video, so bear with me here. Today, if you didn't, by the way, see what this is going to be about, you can check out my announcement video that I just put up yesterday. What are you doing here, motherfucker? Go watch that. Stupid? I'm just kidding, I love you guys. Anyway, today we will be talking about Resident Evil Remastered, mostly because I just played through this game and I really want to talk about it. And specifically, since this is a very classic survival horror game, I kind of figure I can't really say a whole lot that hasn't been said, so I wanted to kind of hone down on one specific topic for this video and talk about the emotions of the game, specifically the emotions that I felt while playing the game. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because some people don't like horror games. I know, that's a shocker, right? It blows my mind when I think about that, but it's true. Some people don't like horror games. And I actually have a buddy of mine who's on my Super Nintendo's channel. A couple of them actually don't like horror games, but one in particular, and I won't say names, though if he's watching this, you'll probably figure out that it's him, is he kind of just says he doesn't get the point of them, right? And a lot of them just don't like jump scares. They don't find them fun, they don't find them enjoyable. And I get that, right? Jump scares are not for everyone. I love them, but not everyone does. But I kind of wanted to separate that because that's an Outlast thing. If you've played Outlast before, that's what Outlast is like. A giant scary monster with chains kind of jumps out of nowhere and starts pummeling you to death, right? It's a jump scare and it frightens you. That's not what Resident Evil's like, and I think what I want this video to be about is kind of that distinguishment of fear. Because Resident Evil doesn't have jump scares. At least none that I ran into. There's a couple parts where you kind of go, oh shit, what was that? But they're not really jump scares. And so I wanted to kind of talk today about that specific fear in this game and why it's different from other games. So if nothing's jumping out at you, why is Resident Evil scary? Well, the reason that this game is so terrifying is because everything you have is limited. Whether we're talking about ammo, whether we're talking about fuel, whether we're talking about saving, all of these things are limited. And I didn't say that wrong. You have a limited amount of saves. There are items in this game called ink ribbons, and the ink ribbons are what allows you to save when you find a typewriter. So no, there's no auto-saving, and you can't save as many times as you want. Let's say you find 12 ink ribbons during your playthrough. You know what that means? You gotta save 12 times throughout the game. Now for some people, that's bad design, but for someone like me, that's just dreadful design, and dreadful in the best possible way. If you're going through a part of the game and you mess around and mess up and waste bullets, it's probably in your best interest to restart, because if you fire off 10 shotgun shells at an enemy and miss and waste them, you're probably not going to be getting those 10 bullets back, especially on higher difficulties. Every shot counts. See, the thing about this game is the enemies are not very fast. A lot of the enemies, like the main zombies, are pretty slow, and even the dogs, who are pretty fast, when you run away from them, they usually don't catch you. There are a couple of fast enemies like the Crimson Heads and the Hunters, but most things are pretty slow, and if you outrun them and dodge them, they don't catch you. So we know at that point that fear does not come from an enemy hunting you down and chasing you or jumping out of nowhere and scaring you. Again, that's Outlast. In Resident Evil, it's this scary feeling of there could be an enemy right around the corner, and if he grabs you and he bites you and you lose health, well, you have an herb, but again, you only have a limited amount of healing items. There's no other way to heal in this game except for the healing items. So again, when we go back to everything, a lot of the fear in this game comes from this sense of limited supplies. Because at the end of the day, this is realistic. See, in a game like Outlast, you can get hit by an enemy, but you recover your health. But that's not realistic. If I get punched or swung at with a baseball bat, I'm not gonna sit on the ground for 5 seconds and then feel better. That's not how it works. And so it kind of loses some of that scariness. But in Resident Evil, it feels just a little bit too real. You need to use actual medication, actual herbs to heal you, and if you don't, well, guess what? Your health is not coming back anytime soon. So the solution is to use the items you find, but you never know when you'll find another item. And that's what makes this game scary, and that's the point that I want to drive home here. It's not scary in a jump scare sort of way, but it's scary in a sense of once you run out of stuff, you're kind of screwed. And there is this real feeling of helplessness in the game when that happens. Once you run out of healing items and you know that there could be a hunter, or a zombie, or a Crimson Head, or anything around the corner, well, you're kind of scared. And since you have a limited amount of saves, if you die, you could have to redo about 30 minutes of the game that you just did. Every decision that you make, every item you grab, matters. See, another important thing to mention is that Jill, one of the main characters in this game, can hold 8 items. Chris can hold 6. Sounds like a lot, but it's really not. You have a weapon, you have ammo for the weapon, let's say you have 2 healing items, and you have a key item that you need. That's 5 items, meaning you have room for 3 other things. So, if you get hit a couple times and have to use your healing items, you're out of stuff. And if you find a new item that's important and your inventory's full, well, you're kind of screwed. And you might be thinking, well, there has to be some workaround for this, right? There are item boxes in the game where you can store stuff, but these are only found in very limited locations, such as save rooms, which, by the way, are a godsend. But if you're not next to a save room, well, the items you have, you just kind of got to hold on to them. Or you have to use up one of your healing items, even if you're at full health, just to fit in that one extra key item. Or you could remember where the item is, go back to an item box, store some weapons, come back, grab the item, and then go back to the item box, put that away, pick up your items, and go back. It gets complicated, man, and these are the decisions that matter. Because if you end up making the wrong decision and you use one of your healing items and then get attacked and killed, well, you're gonna regret that decision. And that, again, I've said it 100 times now, but that's what's scary about this game, is you never know when something is gonna pop out and just completely ruin your life. But okay, so let's say you figure out the ultimate strategy. You find enough ammo to kill some enemies, knock a zombie down to the floor, you leave the room, come back a couple chapters later, and what the fuck, that zombie came back to life, and it is faster and scarier than it ever was. Yeah, that's a Crimson Head. These guys suck, they're assholes. See, in this game, bullets are not the only thing you have to use to kill an enemy. Zombies come back. They come back to life. Literally, the undead come back a second time as Crimson Heads. That's how this game works. So how do you prevent this from happening? How do you prevent a zombie from coming back and turning into something that's far more scary than it was before? Well, you have two options. You can either let it live and just try to dodge it every time you go in that room, or you can burn it with fire. There is a third option of getting a headshot, but take it from me, this is hard to do unless you're really good at the game. So assuming you're not good enough to land these awesome headshots, well, you gotta use fire. The thing is, kerosene, well, do I have to say it? It's limited. You only have a limited amount. And in certain playthroughs, you might only find enough kerosene to burn 11 or 12 zombies. On my first playthrough of the game, I think I found maybe 2 spots with kerosene in it, which was enough to maybe burn 12 zombies. And trust me, there are more than 12 zombies in this game, meaning I had to deal a couple times with Crimson Heads coming back to life and messing with my steez. And one thing I haven't even talked about yet is the camera. I think everyone knows how the camera in Resident Evil works, but it feels like a goddamn surveillance room. The idea behind this is that when you listen to the music and you listen to the enemies, you know where they are. You know they're in the same room as you. They're not popping out of nowhere and attacking you, but you have no idea where they are in relation to you. And trust me, that is terrifying. It is scary when you enter a room and you hear the sound of a hunter, or you hear the sound of a zombie, but have no clue where it is. And you know when you turn that corner, you might run right into him. That's awful. It's a dreadful, sick feeling. See, at the end of the day, when I finished playing my session of Resident Evil, I turned it off and felt kind of sick in my stomach. I felt a little bit dreadful. And I mean this in the best possible way. This game does a number on you. It's a psychological battle. It's a psychological type of horror game that really puts you in a situation where you have to make really quick decisions. Are you gonna take extra ammo with you? Or are you gonna try to take a variety of guns? Are you gonna try to take more medication in case you get hit? What's the plan? See, you don't know what lies beyond that next door. And because of that, you don't know how to prepare. And that is truly what survival horror is about. Don't talk to me, Resident Evil 5 and 6. We will be having a lecture with you later, trust me on that one. But as far as the original ones go, and I've been talking about Resident Evil a lot in this video, but Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and even somewhat 4, though 4 was sort of... 4 is a great game, don't get me wrong, but it did start crossing into that action pathway. But the first 3 for sure really nailed and drove that point home with survival horror. Limited ammo, don't know when to use it, don't know when to heal, don't even know when to save the game. Every corner and every door you enter is a decision you have to make. And trust me, decision making is terrifying. So with that in mind, let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Let me know your opinions on Resident Evil. If you enjoyed the game, if you like this type of horror, if you think it's different, or if you like jump scare horror better, or you like survival horror better, let me know. I want to know your opinion. I care. If you know what I said in that past 2 seconds, I'm gonna give you a cookie. That's not true, I can't give cookies. It's illegal. Would you want a cookie from me? If a stranger came to your door and gave you a cookie, would you even take it? If you would, shame on you, you were not taught very well. Thanks for watching, bye-bye.